Welcome to Act 2 You're On. Join us weekly at our studio roundtable as Rhonda, Kate, and Linda invite spectacular guests to weigh in on staying sexy, vibrant, and healthy. Launch your next great act with authenticity and purpose.
Summon your courage, superstar, and step into the limelight. So grab a coffee
or a martini,
and let's set the stage for a grand entrance. It's Act 2.
You're on.
Greetings, friends, and welcome to A2YO, Act 2, You're On. And I have the great pleasure of podcasting with my two dynamic co-hosts,
Linda Ty and Rhonda Garvin-Conaway.
Friends, our guest is a life changer. He can actually change people's lives, not only in this soft vessel that they inhabit, but by challenging their core beliefs about what they can do and what they can handle, what dreams they can envision for themselves. If you feel ready to discover more energy, more wellness, and some inspiration, then this is the interview for you. Let me tell you about our guest, Jeff Butterworth. Jeff Butterworth is the owner of Boston-based RX Strength Training and a CPT USAW Olympic coach whose philosophy is simple: eat right and do work. No fads, no trends, just basic movements, barbells, and kettlebells. RX Strength Training is located in Somerville, Massachusetts, just 10 minutes from Boston. And they offer certified personal training, sports-specific coaching, plus boot camps and classes for athletes of all fitness levels. With a wide array of specialties and certifications, and what Jeff would call every possible gym toy, the RX Strength coaches work in a style to fit your needs in order to crush your goals. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you very much.
We are delighted that you're here. Thank you so much. You're going to probably wince from this description, but you are, by your education and by your intellect, an accomplished musician, a well-spoken communication majors from BC. You are what my family imagines King Arthur must have been like if you were from Southern Maine. But let me, I should probably say that I've known Jeff for about 15 years, both musicians. And so we knew of each other and had made some music together. But it was really just about 5 years ago when Jeff really came into our lives and he changed my son's life. My son, Matt, was at that point sort of a gangly 14-year-old. He had come to the end of his football season and he said to his dad, I want to be a game changer. And so my husband is also a musician and he knew Jeff and he said, you know what? I have this friend who has this great gym. Let me take you over there. And Jeff said, great, I'll show him the basics. And Matt was hooked, not only from the amazing different types of workouts that you offered, but just by getting to know Jeff. He was deeply, deeply inspired. And I can say, I'll just gush here a little bit as his mom, that this kid did the work. He absolutely bought hook, line, and sinker, everything that Jeff could teach him. He got inspired and he transformed himself into this amazing machine. He became one of the top hurdlers and one of the top shot putters in Massachusetts. He did become a game changer on his football team. And I think when he left your gym, he could deadlift like 450 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, a little over 450 pounds. Benching heavy, he was squatting heavy. He was having a good time.
And I'm just going to take over this interview. You guys can take a break. Yeah. That my whole family has been to Jeff's gym. And I don't know if there's one other single human being who's had more of an influence on my entire family. I've had Mother's Day at Jeff's gym.
Yep,
I mean, we've had Father's Day there. We've done so many fun things. We've been flipping tires, but it's been extraordinary. And I've seen you change people's lives. I can say, as a woman coming into your gym, I never have felt ever intimidated. You see every type of person in there, different body types, different levels of athletic ability, and they're all welcome. It's an amazing community that you've created.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
so
we enjoy our family there.
Yeah, well, it's very clear. It's great caretaking. But I'm wondering, when did strength training and coaching get into your blood?
Well, it was an interesting transition because I did not go to school for anything remotely related to physical fitness, nor did I really know what I was doing in that regard when I was at BC. I'd studied communications towards the hope of either being in advertising or public relations, kind of took the public relations track. And I was out in that world for probably a year and a half or so, and did not really enjoy it as I thought that I might. And it just was not going to be the path for me. I didn't want any of the stuff to do around me. And so you're allowed to make mistakes, I like to think, especially since that was, almost 20 years ago. I started selling memberships for a commercial gym and got picked up by another Cambridge gym. I was kind of overweight at the time. End of college, when you're not so responsible, will do that to you. And I started running, got involved in their running club, got involved with some of the fitness as I was, after all, working for and selling a gym. And discovered that I really had a passion for fitness, really enjoyed it. Got it more into running, started coaching people, got my personal training certification, became their fitness director, and then taking a look at everything I had learned and been able to develop there, figured that I wanted to give it a shot on my own. And so opened up RX Strength Training in the middle of 2011. And we just hit our 10-year anniversary in June. So I'm having a good time doing that. And other people seem to have a good time in the gym with what we've built. And I guess we'll just keep going.
That's a great second act.
Yeah, absolutely. And a fascinating turn, for sure.
Highly unrelated, but I'm happy I did it.
I love that.
But that's, I think, such an important theme for us is walking the planet, is that we do have these passions and these interests and we can go with it. But you say your story very matter of fact, and I'm sure it was not easy to go from what you had studied to selling what you sold to opening your own business. Like, that is just not a straight path. If anybody's done their own business, they know that there are obstacles and challenges. So tell us about what maybe you encountered on that road as a challenge, and what did you do about it?
Well, the challenge initially in just getting into fitness in general is I had honestly no idea what I wanted to do with my life, because it's not that I didn't appreciate my education, but I just wasn't fulfilled doing anything professionally or related to that field when I got out and I was purportedly becoming an adult. So getting into something as, I guess, not directionless, but not as specific as gym membership sales. This wasn't exactly going to be a lifelong dream or goal for me. So it was just helping me to pay rent. I was going to figure out what I was going to do later on. Maybe I'd go back to school or something of the like. But having gotten into fitness, it became all I wanted to do. It was kind of all I thought about, not in such an obsessive way, but I really got to make connections with people, both the ones that I was training and the ones in the gym. Really found out a lot about myself as an educator in talking to these people and just telling them what I knew and what I really enjoyed. So the fact that people wanted to listen to me kind of gave me the clue that maybe this is kind of the thing that I should be doing. And when I left the gym I was at in Cambridge to start my own, really the only concept I had was I had more to offer than just showing up and training a couple people once in a while. It wasn't a bad gym, but I don't think I exactly had a significant future there. And I had already bought a lot of toys, kettlebells, squat stand, barbells, weird tires and ropes. And I knew I had enough to open a gym. I just didn't know where or when. So had to kind of take the plunge, took what little money I had saved up and found a space in also Cambridge and just moved all my random toys in there and kind of come one, come all.
It's a gift to be able to take your passion and make it your work. I really admire that you decided this is your passion. You just went for it in the biggest, boldest way that anybody could do. And we talk on our podcast with our guests, we talk about how, when somebody goes into entrepreneurship, your entrepreneurship also involves keeping your body healthy. But what would you say to other entrepreneurs who have other pursuits and other passions? But we all know that you got to keep your body in shape. You got to keep your body fit, and you have to be vital to be able to achieve anything else you want in life. So speak to us about that and the importance of, keeping that vitality.
So interestingly, I would say that the two questions that are kind of sewn together there dovetail very easily in the fact that everything really needs to always be about basics. So if you were looking at somebody who is an entrepreneur starting their own business, there is a reason that you're getting into it, that you're following your passion and trying to deliver this. And we often get hung up on the idea that it has to be something new, sparkling, more attractive than everyone else. But if you try to remember that what you got into it for in the first place is to deliver a product or to deliver an idea or to disseminate information, ensure that you are always doing exactly that. So somebody who has a retail business, what's most important is getting your products out to customers, just getting being able to show that you have something to offer. Not that it always has to be something new, but that you are offering your core product. Same thing with education. And I would argue education or services or advice. And I would offer the same advice when it comes to fitness. Our approach to fitness at RX Strength Training is that at its core, the only reason that we fitness as a verb in general is because we don't do physical labor anymore. We don't have to build our own houses out of trees. We don't have to go clear rocks out of the field. Very few of us are farmers. And so everything we do, we're often doing something just like this, where we're sitting, we accomplish a goal with the help of machines and other, such things. Thank you, Zoom calls. But that doesn't actually keep our bodies in shape because we still need this machine to function properly. And it's not going to do that without some kind of labor or movement load stimulus. So just like clearing rocks out of a field, you can go and pick up a barbell or pick up some kettlebells and throw them around. That is physical labor. You can flip a tire. You can do as many push-ups as you possibly can, or squat with a barbell, or jump on a box. That's physical labor. So the best idea you can find is something that you're actually going to enjoy, because it'll keep you coming back. You'll enjoy the process, and you won't dread going into the gym or into your garage or into your backyard. It means greater consistency, a greater overall volume of work, and something that isn't going to feel like it's taking you away from your other passion when it can become your escape. All it needs to be is consistent, labor-oriented, and something that you can quantify, and most importantly, have fun with.
Mm. We had a great conversation with Chef Dave Blessing. He had wonderful things to say about you. And he credits his work that he is doing with you to allowing him to be relevant, fit, able to stay on the line, able to stay at the top of his industry, which he clearly is. And that's commitment. He is there working out early morning and driving quite a way to get.
And then he's in the
gym.
kitchen. Yeah. Yes, sometimes he's on the Cape too. He does a lot of work over there in the summer and early fall. He is very, very busy at work with the Longwood venues and kitchens. And now he's got his own Chef David Blessing business. So he is just expanding more and more. It's almost like it parallels his fitness levels and doing races and, having a heavier squat and a bench every single time I see him. And he works hard. Yeah.
Well, working out your body makes your brain work better. And we've heard there's salsa in it. We're going to get some of that salsa at some point. So we often talk here about the can't, the how, the why, and helping people identify what is their can't and helping them discover how to live their why. And you must have lots of people coming into your gym who are at a can't. They're at a stumbling place, or they're at a hurdle that they can't get over. And you are providing them with tools to make themselves better, to get their bodies working better for them, to get their brains working better so that they can live their why. Do you find people come in kind of with blocks, or what are the can'ts that people are coming into your gym with?
So oftentimes once somebody really finds us, they may have a can't or they may have a stumbling block, but usually they're prepared to take it on. The most important thing they can do then, like I was mentioning before, is keep with that consistency. Because can't or a stumbling block can become a boulder that you can't get, an insurmountable boulder, very, very quickly. And so mostly what this is I mentioned the consistency and the dedication, but it can be easy to lose if, life gets in the way, business gets in the way. The weather is terrible. It hurts because you moved heavy things on Tuesday. And so the idea of getting somebody to overcome their can't is going to be different for every single person. Sometimes it's focusing on just a very small goal. Like if they came in and they had a goal weight or a goal strength component that they wanted to pick up. We know that's going to be their primary interest, but we need to figure out how we can develop their habits and build their fitness personality around that as a center point. Because it's not ever going to be about just that one thing. It's always going to be a collection of things, but they just didn't think about that. Something that we always have to work with in the fitness community is the balance of giving people what they want while also infusing into that experience what they need. And many of the things that people need are not things to which they're resistant. Oftentimes it's just things about which they're not thinking. So somebody really wants to have a deadlift PR. That's great, but we need to make sure you're drinking more water, getting more sleep so you can recover better, eating healthier so your body's made up of those good things. It's not just about can you deadlift a lot so that you can deadlift more. A lot in this case being consistent, more being volume or intensity. But we need to be sure all those pieces are in place. And if you give that to them as a profile of what they're going to need to accomplish, it can get scary. It can get intimidating. So finding that thing that really connects for people and allows them to stay connected to their goal and keeps them sort of on that track is one of the most important things. The other element of that, I'd say, is it has to be fun. A lot of people, the whole idea of no pain, no gain, dedication is keep your nose to the grindstone. That is true. But we are very social creatures and we're surrounded with distractions all the time. So if you can't make something fun, it's going to become a grind. And when the, going gets tough, that's going to be one of the first things to drop. And it's going to be an easy justification. Well, I have this, and this going on in my life. I just can't handle that right now. I'll get back to that in a month. I'll get back to that after New Year's. I'll get back to that next September, something like that. And so making it fun is, I would say, almost as important, if not more important, than staying connected to that goal. You know that because would your family ever have come to the gym if it wasn't a good time? If I was yelling at everybody? Well, first of all, I'm not that mean, I don't think. But it's the most. You had a great time. Family tire flipping was awesome.
It was so awesome,
Sounds
and it was really creative. It was different every time, and I think that that's kind of at the heart of what you offer is that you really bring your mind to it, and you're trying to deal with every individual and what they need. And I think that creativity definitely is helpful. I'm wondering how you use that creativity to get through this pandemic, because that must have been really challenging for your gym.
This was a challenge. I know several friends, one right down the street, who actually had to close their gyms permanently. And so it wasn't kind to everybody. I want to very, very much acknowledge that my partner, fiance Jenna Tang, was hugely instrumental in helping us stay open because she does a lot of the back end business stuff that I'm not as good at. But we're pretty good at sharing responsibilities. And so she's good at the paperwork. She's good at making sure we stay afloat. And I guess my job was to make sure that we stayed relevant when we didn't have a physical location to which people could go. So we were doing a lot on Instagram. We were doing a lot of online workouts and videos, which has not traditionally been our strength. We're very, very face to face. And so to keep that physical connection, we had loaned out every single piece of equipment in the gym. I think I only had a couple hundred pound kettlebells and, some giant sleds and things like that that really couldn't fit into a car. But all the barbells, all the plates, dumbbells, kettlebells, boxes for jumping, all of it was gone. It was just spread to the four corners of, our client map, and they were in people's homes. So for the entirety of the pandemic, they had our toys. We programmed for them so they could still do something in their living room or their garage or basement. And so we still kind of had that connection with people. Community is everything for us.
Very, very brave, very bold, and very compassionate to your community. And all the toys came back?
Yep, we got them all back. I think I have one set of kettlebells out still, but he has a special circumstance and he's still doing our programming from home, so he can hold on to them for a little while. He's been with us for a bit.
That wasn't Steve Levy, was it? Wasn't my husband?
No, it was not. Nope, definitely not. You guys have plenty of toys. I know that once Maddie got into it, you guys really set up a pretty good home gym, and she got into it and everything.
I know. Yep. My children coach me now.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
That is such an impressive story. I can just picture you getting everything out to people, and it speaks to, I think, who you are as a leader in the community and your community. Oh, I'd love to go back a little bit to talk about you and your leadership experience and how that has fed into the success you currently have.
So it's an interesting thing outside of, as Steve and Kate know, being lead trumpet, I guess. I don't know, in jazz band. I don't know that I would have characterized myself specifically as a leader prior to this. Always happy to help, always happy to, help lead someone through something, but I never really had any positions of leadership or roles like that. I was never a captain of a sports team in high school. I was never, really anything of that nature. But when I got into fitness, I think that just having that opportunity to guide people and to educate people, I guess kind of brought that out. I discovered that a little bit more when I was leading my own running club, when I was leading teams for our obstacle course racing back in the day, and when I did endurance races before that. We were doing a lot of team-oriented stuff, and I discovered, I guess, that passion for being a leader. I still don't like to think of myself as a leader or a boss. I just want to be sure that everyone gets where we're going in one piece, all together, and as best as we possibly can. There's a great proverb, and I believe it originates as an African proverb, but it was delivered to me in English, and it is if you want to go fast, you go alone, and if you want to go far, you go together. And that has always been our approach: is we are not individuals, we are not a collection of stars or singular heroes, or I don't even know what word to use, but we are a collection of people that really wants to get something done together. None of us succeed unless all of us succeed. And so our team at our strength training coaches is definitely like that. Our community definitely reflects that. And I just love having those people around. I guess that's why I feel like a decent guide.
Wow, how fortunate everyone is to experience your leadership in that way. And I think for those listening who are wondering, am I a leader? Do I have what it takes? Hearing your account and reflection about your own experience is an affirmation that, yes, indeed, we all are. We don't have to have that little signia on our uniforms or what we wear or being given a title, but we have it within us. And if we look carefully, it's right there all along.
And
that's exactly right. Yep.
Yeah. And I think a really important distinction that you made is that leaders don't go there alone. They go there together. Mm-hmm. And to be a leader takes reaching out and finding your power team or your community that helps you thrive and lifts you up and keeps you going. And that's what you've created in your gym. And I think it's really just an amazing opportunity that you created for people to not just get fit, but as Kate was saying earlier, it's more than just physical. It's spiritual, really, and empowering to be working out in your gym. So and to be part of that community. It's that time in our conversation. Even there's a lot of more things I wanted to ask you, but I mean, maybe we have to have another conversation. But certainly, this is the time for a golden nugget. So for our viewers and listeners who are making a transition, reinventing, thinking about jumping out into their next great act in whatever way that they are, what would be for you a golden nugget? What should they think about? Maybe some advice that you have?
You always hear something like this, often in regards to people who are either doubted or embattled when they're talking about something that is a passion or an idea. But I think I would just relate it to the constant struggle we all deal with. If there's something that drives you and something that is such a passion for you that you are interested in making this your second act and doing something of your own, always remember why that was a feeling for you. Never doubt yourself. Don't allow others to doubt you. If you have a passion for something and you think you can make it work, then you can make it work. The idea that, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right, is very, very valid. There is no such thing as failure if you don't give up. And so if you have a passion, you pursue that passion. And if it's not working out today, it's not working out tomorrow. It may work out in a week. It may work out in a year, but don't give up and be sure that you stay connected to what brought you to that passion in the first place.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good one. Unfortunately, I have to take us in the direction of wrapping up. So
that is okay.
Hold
We've
on
had a
to
good
that
conversation.
wisdom. I know I have to be the timekeeper, but I'm holding tight to what you just said. That was lovely. And before we go, though, we all are really interested in hearing what's next for you.
Well, in terms of expanding, or I shouldn't say expanding, in terms of bolstering the business, we're adding new members all the time. We're adding back in some of the classes and sport-specific training that we were doing, such as my kettlebell sport program will be coming back. But in the immediate future, and I don't know when this is going to air, so apologies if I'm making this weirdly dated, but on Sunday, November 14th, we're going to be running for the 6th year, not annually, unfortunately, but the 6th year, because we missed last year, the fall flip at Trillium Brewing Company in Canton that we have been doing for the Family Reach Foundation, which is one of our chosen charities that's a pediatric oncology related charity that entirely financially supports the families of children affected by cancer. And so we'll be flipping our giant tires, as everyone loves to do, for segments of time, both men's teams, women's teams, co-ed teams, and we'll have food and fun there. And every single bit of the proceeds and fundraising will be going to the Family Reach Foundation so that they can support the families of children affected by cancer. So that's our next big thing that's coming up. We're really excited to once again do it this year after having to take off 2020, of course. And then we'll just keep the events rolling.
Well, we cannot thank you enough, Jeff, for this conversation. I can't thank you enough for the way you've helped my family and specifically Maddie. I mean, you really have made Matt the man that he is. I think you, Steve, and I have done a wonderful job.
Thank you. Well, you guys are just the best. And Maddie is incredibly strong in having taken the reins on that. And I know it's very easy to go off to school and lose track of that, find other interests and other social experiences. And I know because he's brought kettlebells with him that that's something he's still going for. And I guarantee even if his roommates and friends aren't as dedicated as he is, they will be. And at the very least, they're getting a good firsthand experience as to what it is to lead a healthy life now rather than 10 years down the road.
Well, thanks. And this conversation has had so many nuggets. But I think, my takeaway is just it's wonderful role modeling for all the people who are listening or viewing to know that you might not know that you are a leader, but actually we all need to be leaders. And you're so humble about it, Jeff, but you're an extraordinary leader. And I think that I feel like there's a real invitation from your role modeling, but also in just the way that you're living your life and the way this conversation has gone. It's very inspiring. And so whether people get to RX Strength in Somerville or they just feel inspired to get to wherever their local gym is, because we have people listening from all over the country and some from outside. Yep. I think it's a real invitation to get to the gym and find some fun and stay dedicated. But great conversation. Thank you so much.
Yes. And the learning doesn't have to stop. Oh, goodness. We're so grateful.
That's right. Never.
Learning doesn't have to stop. What folks can do is learn more about Jeff and RX Strength Training. Go and check him out on Facebook and on Twitter. And his website is www.rxstrengthtraining.com. Or you can contact Jeff at rxstrengthtraining.com. Special thanks to our very talented producer, Kathy Carswell, for making this all possible today.
And so it is left to me to say, go forth, be brave, live well, and do good, because it's Act 2. You're on. Act 2 You're On was brought to you by Act 2 Share Our Stage.
You can find us at a2yo.com and also on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Please listen and subscribe wherever you find your podcast. You can support us using Patreon. Thanks for listening.